It's time to talk about some fantastic fragrance clones that are perfect for spring, summer, just whenever it's warm outside. These are going to give you a fantastic opportunity to save some money because what we're talking about here, these clones, are cloning some much more expensive fragrances. And it's not like they're cloning things that nobody ever talks about. Like these are clones of some really popular warm weather scents that you can't really get away from. And they aren't going to be in the budget for everybody, but today's video is going to help you out because a lot of these are anywhere from $25 to, let's say, $50. There's one anomaly, which is around $100, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But even that one is still, $300, $350 cheaper than the real deal. So there's savings all over the place here. I'll link all of these down below to discounters so you can pick them up. But I want to get things kicked off with Armaf Hunter Intense Eau de Parfum. So remember, they changed these kind of sneakily. For the longest time, it was an Eau de Toilette listed on FragranceNet, Fragrance By, Joma Shop, etc. Eau de Toilette. When you would buy it, it would say Eau de Toilette right there. Now, if you look closely, it says Eau de Parfum. And all of the listings on most of the websites have changed to Eau de Parfum as well because Armaf made a change. So I really don't think you can get the Eau de Toilette anymore. I think they're only producing this Eau de Parfum. I don't see why they would produce them side by side, but maybe they are, but I really don't think so. I think the EDP is more common now. Regardless of which concentration you get, scent-wise, they're basically the same. The Eau de Parfum is a bit stronger, though. So what does that scent smell like? It's kind of like a hybrid of all of the best popular blue fragrances that you could imagine combined into one. Sauvage, Dylan Blue, Aqua Atlantique, and a bit of Blue de Chanel, all shoved into one bottle for about $20 to $25. This is one of the more affordable ones in this video. And this stuff is fantastic. It's just a blue fragrance conglomerate, essentially. If you don't want to mess with getting clones of each individual one of those, which they are available and you could do that, you can just get this. And it really does a great job of just giving you a cooling, blue, soapy, out of the shower smell that is indicative of a summer scent. I mean, this just has this cooling, blue, refreshing nature about it that works perfect for this time of year. But with something like this, it could be a signature scent. You could wear it in the fall, winter as well. So a lot of usability out of something that's 25 bucks. So next up we have the more expensive clone. This is by far the most expensive one in this video, but it kind of still makes sense from a financial aspect for a couple of reasons. It's Parfums Vintage Emperor Absolute. So really, really cool looking bottle and cap. Love it. They've really upgraded their presentation over the years, which I like their old presentation, the kind of wooden caps with the clear glass, really simplistic and classy. But these are really, really sharp as well. And something that I haven't really seen from any other brand, they allow you to choose the bottle style. Like if you go over to their website and you do go to the drop down, you can select from a number of different bottle colors and designs. I've never seen that before. That is really cool. And the scent stays the same, obviously. It's just the packaging. And so this one, no surprise, maybe not a surprise, is a clone of Creed Absolute Aventus, which dropped this year with a bunch of anticipation, but from the get-go, it was announced as a limited edition run. And so it retails for, I think I'll get this right, I think it's $545 retail, making it more expensive than the regular Aventus. And another thing to bear in mind, 75 ml. So two things important about that, one of which being 75 ml versus 100 ml, pretty big difference there. So the price per milliliter is significantly higher than that of the regular Aventus coming in at a 100 ml bottle. So yes, the price difference spread is a bit higher on Absolute, but when you start calculating what you're paying per milliliter, it's even more crazy. And the other thing that's unique about that is simply just that they discontinued the 75 ml bottles back in, I think 2017 was the last year that they did 120 ml and 75. 2018 and newer, 150. 100 ml and 50 ml, not 150, just to clarify that. So kind of cool that they're kind of nodding back to OG Aventus at least a little bit in terms of the richness that embodies and also the bottle, the presentation. I think that's really, really cool. Very expensive though. And so this one, it's in the $100 range. So also not a cheap scent by any means, but as far as you know, putting this head to head against Absolute Aventus, I mean, it's still a no-brainer. Really, really good clone. Gets you that rich, kind of smoky style Aventus with a really, really nice, heavy, tart, sweet pineapple. Just gets all of that going on, just at a much more affordable cost than that of what you're paying for Absolute Aventus, coupled with the fact that that one's just getting more rare as time goes on. Next up, we have Fragrance World F Les Parfums, Eau de Parfum. So kind of sneaky. That's kind of what YSL Les Parfums is as well. It's like an Eau de Parfum Intense. Not a true parfum to the best of my knowledge, and similar deal here. But yeah, I mean, kind of gave it away, not that it was hiding anything. YSL Les Parfums clone. Not only the bottle, of course, but the scent itself. When you smell it, you'll see what I mean. So what is the difference between Les Parfums and the Eau de Parfum? Les Parfums actually is a little bit less sweet, a little bit, compared to the EDP. It still has the apple, which is giving off that sweetness, and still all of the sage and amber wood and everything like that, but it's a tiny bit more aromatic, just a little bit, and just kind of has a little bit more of a parfum style, even though, again, it's not a true parfum. So that's kind of what this one is doing as well. It's just emulating that of Les Parfums, and, you know, of course, coming in at a much lower cost. I don't know, $30, maybe $35 for this, really reasonable. And this stuff, albeit a little sweet, is a great summer scent. Next up, we have Haramain Amber Oud Carbon Edition. Really sharp bottle. I love just the silver, kind of silver plate. I don't know, what do you call that? You can see the texture built in there. It's kind of a brushed finish, I think is what I'm looking for. Silver brushed finish. I mean, that is sharp. If you get the lighting just right, looks great. I love it. And the cap shares similar characteristics as well. So when you think of carbon, what do you think of? I think of Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, because there aren't too many fragrances out there that has carbon in the name. It's kind of a cool idea. And carbon really fits what Prada Luna Rossa Carbon is, something that smells like Dior Sauvage. So going into this one, blindly, of course, I didn't know what I was getting. I got this one in, and it's pretty much a dead ringer to Green Irish Tweed by Creed. And not only a dead ringer in terms of scent, but the quality is phenomenal. Now, I won't say it's as good as the Creed, but holy crap, it is a really high quality clone. I mean, Armaf Très Nuit is one of my favorite Green Irish Tweed clones. It's cheaper than this, $20, $25, and it's been around for a long time. I still love that one, and I'm not going to discredit it any. But this one does have it beat in almost every category. The only drawback to that is you are paying a bit more for this. Not outrageous. I still think it's, I don't know, maybe $45, maybe even $50, and maybe that's even too much for 100 ml. So not crazy, but the quality and everything speaks just words to how far clones have come in the past several years. Like, this one is nothing short of impressive. If you want to smell like Green Irish Tweed for less, this is a fantastic release if you want to cough up a little bit more money to get a more premium experience. But like I said, Très Nuit by Armaf, more affordable and still a fantastic option as well. Next up, we have Jean Lo Immortal by Alhambra, and they changed the name at some point. So this is Immortal, okay, and I think now it's Immortel with EL, not AL like this. Still Alhambra, I think still maybe similar presentation, I can't remember now, but Fragrance By, they kind of made a point to say, you know, the name changed, but it's still the same thing. And this is a much more affordable alternative to Louis Vuitton L'Immensité. I looked up the pronunciation before this, and I think I just messed it up again, so you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to try it again, but that's what it's a clone of, and that one's expensive, and it smells great. Louis Vuitton has some great fragrances at a cost, at a pretty high premium, but this one gets you in there for, I don't know, $25, maybe $30. It's, well, maybe even a little bit more than that, maybe $35 or so, but it's affordable. Grapefruit, ginger, rosemary, bright, fresh, uplifting, smells great. It's perfect for spring and especially for a hot summer day. Really crisp and just a little hint of a sweet pop behind it to just give it a little bit more of a punchy texture. Smells great, decent performance out of this one too. You can't go wrong with it. This one is a little bit more limited as far as it sells out quick when it pops up. It's just, people are really wanting it. So, you know, catch it when you can and pick up a bottle. It's great. Next up, we have Armaf Club de Nuit Sillage or Sillage, whichever you prefer. Okay, now silver bottle, Creed Silver Mountain Water. Even though Creed Silver Mountain Water is white, the bottle, this one's silver, and that's what it's a clone of. It's been around for a long time. Pretty much everybody knows it at this point. I love Silver Mountain Water. It has this kind of ink, purpley smell and texture and delivery to it, which is bizarre. It has a nice green tea note and some musk and black currant and all those things. And this has a pretty similar construction to it as well. Really getting you close to that just for, you know, $40. It's kind of where this one typically falls. But that tea note, it's phenomenal. It smells great. It's underutilized in my opinion, at least in men's fragrances, that is. I think it might be used in women's scents, perfumes more, tea and other varieties. But as far as colognes go, not all that often. But when it's used and it's done right, this smells amazing. And I will say this as well, now that I think about it, I think Silver Mountain Water might be listed as unisex. And if it's not, definitely could be. So maybe they don't have that marketed as a men's scent. But what I said still holds true. You don't see tea a whole lot in men's fragrances where they market it to that direction. So it can definitely be really, really well done if it's done right. And it definitely makes it stand out and smell unique, which is a big bonus. So something you can grab for summertime just to be different. FOMO, a Fraghead's Asylum Extrait. It's like a, I don't know, $32, $35 scent. And it is a clone of Roja Parfums Elysium, which I love. I have loved Elysium for years at this point, and I've gone through a lot of it. I will continue to wear it. However, again, budgeting, it's expensive. You know, it's a little over $200 for the Parfum Cologne at discounters. When you're talking the Parfum Extrait 50 ml, you're looking at $350, $360, something like that. Pricey stuff. Again, I already listed the price, just a little over $30 for this one. 100 ml Extrait, not a Parfum Cologne, Eau de Parfum variant or whatever, but the Parfum Cologne isn't a Parfum. This one is, and it's much more affordable. And it gets that Elysium, vetiver, grapefruit, musky, blackcurrant, fruity, citrusy deal going on really well. I love it. They did a fantastic job, and it has such great quality too. It's impressive stuff. Fragrance World Feroce Pour Homme. Love the color of the bottle up here. What does it look like? I mean, it looks like Light Blue Forever because it smells a lot like Light Blue Forever. Just before shooting this video, I popped a spray up into the air just to bask in that grapefruit freshness. And every time I spray this one and smell the opening, I'm like, that is just about as close as you could possibly get. I don't say this for every clone, right? I think there are quite a few that I could tell apart if I were to smell them blindfolded. I really do, because there are subtleties that will separate them. And especially if it's something that I've spent a lot of time with, the original, and go over to the clone, I would probably be able to tell. But this one, I don't know if I could. It would be a fun video idea. But I'll tell you, if I had to smell these blindfolded side by side, I just about might think that you're giving me the same thing and I'm smelling both like I'm being trolled or something. It's incredibly close. Like I would have to study to try to get that right. It's impressive stuff. So if you want something that smells like Light Blue Forever, because you just can't get Light Blue Forever anymore, it's $35. Grapefruit, violet leaf, ozonic notes, all that stuff. Perfect for a hot, scorching summer day. This is it right here. Lattafa Maahir Legacy kind of smells like Parfums de Marly Sedley. Well, not kind of. It smells a lot like Parfums de Marly Sedley. It's one of the few, if not one of the only, Sedley clones that they have. I guess that's kind of the same thing. One of the few, one of the only. I don't know, but it smells like Sedley a lot, and I love that. That's one of my favorite Parfums de Marly fresh scents. I mean, Sedley and Greenlee, they're both great. If I had to choose one, I would still pick Sedley. I think it's amazing. A minty, green, fresh, citrusy, musky scent. Bright, great for summertime. Greenlee, obviously, is very green. Green apple, oak moss, all that stuff. It's not going to hold up as well in brutal temperatures. Sedley wins in that department, and so will this one. Last up for this video, we have Alpine Homme Sport by Maison, Alhambra, or Lattafa. You know, same thing. They kind of have their own little subsidiary going on. Tried to use that word, and I don't know if I did it right. Chanel Allure Homme Sport. I mean, it looks like it, and it smells like it. They did a good job here. And I've kind of talked about this one before. There's no real clone of Chanel Allure Homme Sport until this. There's Versace Pour Homme, which smells like it but then does their own thing. There's Maison Wave, which smells like both of them combined. But we haven't really had, at least not too many, at least not popularized, any Chanel Allure Homme Sport clones standalone. But this one does it. They get the presentation nailed, which is great, but they also get the scent down. So what's the difference? I mean, this one's basically all about the creamy tonka aldehydes and orange. It doesn't have a ton of the bright freshness like the Versace does and like also the Maison Wave does. So it really narrowed in on the Chanel and they did a great job. I mean, that creaminess, that tonka orange, aldehydic, C-note smell makes Chanel Allure Homme Sport special. It's a very, very unique and just standout way of doing things. And this one nails that. It's great. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some fantastic fragrance clones that are perfect for warm weather. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.